Hello, welcome to the Morning Serve, brought to you by Canadian Club. I'm Nick McArdle. Casey Dellacqua is here on today's show. We're looking at the Demons' first round success, cruising through his first round. Also, Australia's women's successes in the first round, and there were plenty of those. And Australia's representation in the doubles. Looking forward to a heap of that over the next couple of days. Case, let's talk about the Demon first up. Alex de Minaur, he really did cruise through that first round. Clinical, I think, was the word everyone was using.
Yeah, look, I thought it was a perfect first round match in regards to court time. Just being out on Rod Laver Arena, just getting the body going in terms of that first round match. They are always tricky. You just want to get through these first and early rounds, especially with obviously Alex's game style, with as much energy in reserve as possible. So I think he did a really good job both on serve, return. He made a lot of balls, as we're used to seeing with Alex. So I think all in all, he'd be pretty happy with that first round match.
Go back a couple of weeks, his United Cup outing against Casper Ruud, and the service in particular was not great, and everyone's thinking, hang on, what's going on here? Good improvement there?
A huge improvement, and look, the first match of the season is always the most difficult, and I know that after that match, I was there in Sydney during the United Cup and saw him on the practice court the next day hitting a heap of serves, and I think since then it just all becomes about confidence. It becomes about getting on the match court and serving under pressure. He also played a mixed doubles, and I think by the time he left United Cup, his serve has been looking great, particularly looking good in his first round match. So I think that he'll be pretty happy with where his entire game is at the moment, and one round down and a few more to go.
So, well, hopefully, yeah, plenty more to go.
Yeah.
So he plays in the night session, and Alcaraz gets the day session. How does that all work, that scheduling? Does Alcaraz get the preference there because he is the top seed?
Yeah, look, I'm obviously not in the scheduling room. I'd like to be a little fly on the wall, but I would say that there are a number of factors that go into scheduling, and that includes players' preferences, and particularly the world number one. Yes, absolutely. But broadcasts play a lot. Have a lot to say in regards to scheduling as well. So I would say it's a multifaceted kind of decision that has to go into making what's best for everybody. Look, I think 7 o'clock at night is a good time slot for Alex. Obviously, it's prime time here in Australia. And I also think the sun hasn't quite gone down. You still get those lively conditions early in the evening. So I think all in all, he'll be pretty happy to be, at 7 o'clock. He knows he's the one, like Australia is all behind him, and everyone's got eyes on him, watching him and hoping he does well.
Yep, he will be doing big numbers, hopefully right here on Channel 9.
Yes.
So you've got Alcaraz and Sinner, the top two seeds here. They've got the top two rankings in the world pretty much locked down.
Yeah.
What happens for Alex for the rest of the year? You've got Zverev in 3. Djokovic is lurking as well. Is there an opportunity for Alex to climb even further, perhaps grab a third spot in the world?
Yeah, I do believe so. I think Alex is so consistent in regards to what he brings to the tennis court, and he is absolutely a disruptor in the draw. There's no one that would want to face Alex de Minaur at any point in the tournament. So the thing with Alex is he's consistently putting himself in positions to improve that ranking, and also you just never know at these big majors with injuries and potentially things that happen. You just got to keep putting yourself there to go that one step further. And just having played the game for so long, Nick, I just so appreciate, and I hope everyone can start to see what Alex is doing day in, day out with his discipline, his motivation, his ability to wake up and want to be better. And he's only 25 years of age. I think it's really creditable. So I think, look, can he get to number 3 in the world? Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's funny, isn't it, how everyone talks about, he hasn't been past a slam quarter-final. There's plenty of time for that. So,
yeah.
Hey, let's talk about the women, and you've been busy over the last few days calling a lot of women's matches. The most Aussie women through to the second round of an Australian Open since 1992. What do you put it down to?
It's so good. I'm really proud of all of the Aussie women. Look, I think there is a very, very strong culture within the Aussie women's game to stick together, whether it be through mateship and life on tour. They're constantly in each other's company, and I truly believe that success breeds success. So when you're seeing your mates do well and you're seeing your mates win first rounds, you want to get out there and do the same. So I think the camaraderie between the women, we've got great leadership in Samantha Stosur as our Billie Jean King Cup, and also Nicole Pratt, who has such a big influence in regards to how the women show up day in, day out in Australia and on tour all year round. So look, I probably put it down down to the fact that, there's a really strong, supportive culture behind all of the Aussie women.
This one's going to be hard for you, but out of all those first round wins, was there one that you just loved for the story?
Oh, look, it's pretty hard to go past Storm Hunter. I think we've obviously know her story and her history with her Achilles, but just, I guess, from behind the scenes, seeing her, show up and do the little 1%ers day in, day out, and knowing how difficult that would have been for her. Look, her story's great, and obviously being a Perth girl, I'm always pretty proud of my West Aussies.
I love the fact too that she was so emotional, so pleased about just making it through qualifying, but then there was obviously something kicked in, and in her brain she thought, that's not enough.
No.
I'm going to go further now.
Totally, and that's what she's brought to the court, is that type of energy, and she's got a great opportunity in her second round encounter as well to continue that form. But in her first round match, she was down in both sets and came back, and I think that mental resilience that she's been able to show consistently around, whether it be injuries or deficits in a match situation, she's been able to turn it around.
It's time for the Canadian Club Crush Time, and the big question is, out of all the women who've pushed on to the second round, who might go all the way and push really deep into this tournament?
Yeah, I think, Nick, for me, Priscilla Hon is probably the one just to keep an eye out for. She got through her first round encounter in unfortunate circumstances, but she had a great run at the US Open last year. She's come into the AO summer with, her body's in good nick in terms of injuries and health-wise, and she plays Eva Jovic next, who is a seed here, but I think in terms of second round, if you're going to jag a seed, she's not a bad one to have. Mm-hmm. So, look, I think Priscilla Hong can, keep going forward.
All right, we'll keep an eye on that one. Maya Joint, there was so much expectation. Everyone just wanted her to do well. The teenager, she was seeded here at 30, Australia's top-ranked woman at the moment, wasn't able to get it done in the first round. What do you put that down to? Is it a bit of pressure because of that seeding, perhaps?
Yeah, I definitely think that there was a lot of pressure and expectation. Yes, externally, but I think no more than the pressure that she put on herself. And I think, she didn't, unfortunately, have the best preparation with the United Cup being unwell. So then it kind of, affected her in the early stages of her first event. Got to Adelaide, arrived in Melbourne with, yes, she came in as Australia's #1 ranked women's player. So there was a lot of pressure on her. Her first round was a very, very tough encounter against a very quality 18-year-old. So it was always going to be a tough match. And I think for Maya, she'll actually learn a lot more from that experience than perhaps if she had just cruised through and won. She'll learn now to, deal with the loss with her team, who she has a great team, Nick. She's got great people around her that will put it into perspective. She's had such a great 2025. She just goes, back to the drawing board. What do I need to do? What do I need to continue to improve? And, she's got a long career ahead of her, and that's just kind of a step in terms of where she's going to head to.
No doubt she will be getting a lot of advice. What would you be telling her?
I would actually tell her, go and, put your feet up tonight, turn the TV off, just switch off from tennis a little bit, get back out there because she will have doubles. Mm-hmm. She's got, other opportunities to play here at the Australian Open. And then maybe after the tournament's done, sit down with your team and reflect upon experiences, do a bit of a deep dive into your feelings and kind of go deep with it. And I think she'll do that and then come out better as a person for that, and that'll help her tennis eventually.
And for the rest of the year, will it actually benefit her to step onto court and she'll be out of the spotlight? She won't be, in the glare of all of Australia. Maybe even if she's not seeded at the next few tournaments, just have this as a year to build with a bit of anonymity, perhaps?
Yeah, and I think I've always said that when you have a year that she had, Maya Joint, in 2025, if the following year you can sustain your ranking, and if she ends up top 50 in the world at the back end of this year, I actually think that's a really successful year because it means you have defended all of your points that you have gained from that previous year. So you've really backed up and kind of established yourself in that position. So that would be my also advice in terms of like goal setting, and that would just to be very realistic with the year she's had, what you're looking to do in 2026, and then you start to also continue to build from then on in.
All right, now our last topic is right in your wheelhouse. We're going to talk some doubles.
Yay, the doubles are starting.
There's a huge amount of Aussie pairings, the Australians sticking together at this tournament and hoping to make an impact. Who are you really looking forward to?
Yeah, look, I think obviously with the Australian Open, we see a lot more wildcards given to our Aussies. So it's such a great opportunity for them to pair up with another Australian, They get great support, particularly on the outside courts in the early rounds. Look, Cruz Hewitt got a wild card with James Duckworth, so looking forward to watching them play. We've got Destiny Iava with Maddie Inglis, and Daria Kasich-Keener is playing with the other Aussie, Arena Rodionova. So plenty of Aussies in action in the doubles. Also our spearheads in doubles, John Peers, Ellen Perez, Olivia Gadecki, Storm Hunter. They're all playing, so plenty to watch, Nick.
Casey's very excited about the doubles, and Casey will be with us over the stretch throughout the Australian Open for 2026. Hope you can join us too. This is The Morning Serve, brought to you by Canadian Club.
WWOS Sports is your home of the Australian Open. From highlights of the best players, every magic Aussie moment, and the best expert analysis.
We'll have every nail-biting, heartwarming and edge-of-your-seat point covered. Subscribing to Wide World of Sports on YouTube is a must for any tennis fan.